Tonight, we are hearing from a New York Times bestselling author and military veteran who wrote a scathing book about Fort Bragg. Journalist Seth Harp began investigating the murders of 2 soldiers attached to the elite Delta Force and Joint Special Operations Command years ago. He ended up discovering a drug dealing ring, corrupt police, and a military cover-up. He spoke with WRAL after the book's release. Murder, drugs, and cartel connections, all with ties to Fort Bragg. Those are among the allegations in a new book by a contributing editor to Rolling Stone magazine, Seth Harp. WRAL covered 2 drug-related murders on Fort Bragg in 2020. These murders are the focus of a new book called The Fort Bragg Cartel: Drug Trafficking and Murder in the Special Forces.
And the question is, who killed Timothy Dumas and Billy Levine, who were the 2 soldiers were found shot to death and dumped in the woods there by Lake MacArthur in 2020.
In the book, Harp says both Timothy Dumas and Billy Levine were part of the Special Forces Command and deep into drug trafficking. Special Forces and its Joint Special Operations Command, also known as the JSOC, is based at Fort Bragg.
JSOC is a sort of secretive military within the military that is dedicated to doing covert operations, black operations. The Army component of it is called Delta Force, and is the largest and most significant component of it.
Harp says the secrecy around Special Forces is part of the problem, even if it has nothing to do with top secret missions.
My book is critical of these institutions because I think that waging war in secrecy for 20 years gives rise to a host of cultural problems that spill over into communities like Fayetteville.
3 years after those murders, WRAL reported on the arrest of Kenneth Quick Jr. He has yet to go to trial. Harp is not convinced, if he did commit the murders, that he did it alone.
The FBI denied all my FOIA requests and didn't respond to any requests for an interview. They're the ones who investigated the case. The DOJ likewise has said virtually nothing about the case.
In the book, Harp says Freddie Huff, a former North Carolina State Highway Patrol officer turned drug dealer, forged a relationship with the Mexican cartel and one of the murder victims.
He got into business at a certain point with Timothy Dumas and began pumping cocaine into the Fort Bragg pipeline, because Fort Bragg is a massive drug market.
Harp hopes his book will lead to calls for more transparency for everyone's sake.
Whoever killed Timothy Dumas and Billy Levine, assuming it wasn't just Kenneth Quick acting alone, those people are still out there.
We mentioned Freddie Huff. Freddie Huff was sentenced on drug charges back in 2023 to 252 months in federal prison. HBO has nabbed the naming rights for the book with plans to develop it into a series. The streaming service called it a, quote, fiercely sought after deal.
Wow.
No word yet on a target date for that release.
It just sounds captivating every step of the way as you're listening to it. So it'll be a great read, and we'll see what happens once HBO does what they do.
Yeah, exactly. He exposes a lot.